Well, good morning, our beloveds. It is getting colder here in the northern hemisphere in certain areas. You know, climate change, weather patterns, life, movement of the planet, and the stratosphere. There are so many moving pieces. But when you look at the change in tide, when you watch the tide come in and go out, do you simply recognize the pattern? Sometimes the tide comes in greater, sometimes less, sometimes it goes out more, sometimes less. You need not have conspiracy theories to explain nature. It is unpredictable and unrelenting. It is the great equalizer. So why so many of you give man so much power over something that in itself has been so destructive? We have always had flooding, natural disasters, fires, earthquakes, ravaging experiences, tornadoes, it doesn't matter. And yet you only recently began to ascribe it to humanity. Maybe just step back and look at some of your cuckoo theories, where they align with reality and where they don't. And then where they don't, find where that source of information is and recognize it is spewing fear, inspiring hatred, creating a dangerous place. Is that really something that you wish to be a part of? You have to look at the agenda of what we will call the mad-making machine, those who try to make you mad and go crazy with anger. That is designed to keep the old construct alive. So simply refuse to participate. Fight for things that matter. Roe v. Wade in the U.S. matters because it denies women the right to choose. First they come for the children and then they come for you. Look at the actual policies and not the rhetoric. If you want children to be born, which we fully understand, then tend to them, care for them, offer free schooling, free daycare, free education, free medicine, free medical care, housing, food, like when you lived in a collective hive where everybody was taken care of. Forcing a child to be born into the life where somebody can't properly care for them is actually more sinful than allowing them to perish, if you will, at an earlier time. You are forcing many of these children into painful, miserable, traumatizing lives just because you insist that they must be born. There are things that are none of your business. You can have beliefs, you can have policies in mind, but don't deny others the right to choose what's right for them, and instead maybe invest in them earlier so that by the time they get to a stage where they have an unwanted pregnancy, that they have the resources, that they know that they can offer their child the best life possible because they know that they can go back to school. They know that they will get free health care and food and housing for their children. But that is socialism to you. If you want one, you must offer the other, because what you're doing is eternally damning these children. to a traumatizing experience. And yes, it's not all of them, but it's enough of them, statistically speaking, that you should care. Your policies hurt and damage more Americans than die. Think about that your policies are actually more harmful than they are helpful. If you're going to fix one part of the problem, fix the entire problem, so that when people find themselves with an unwanted pregnancy, that they know that they can survive, and they also know that their child will benefit, will be better off alive than dead. You are the cause for it. So just sit with that and figure out where your internal belief systems are flawed. You have bought somebody else's rhetoric because it is politically advantageous, not religiously correct or scripturally supported. You need to find the entirety of the story, not just the one by cherry picking what supports your ideology. We don't normally get into this realm, but there are so many policies now that are being discussed that will harm people, hurt people, cause them to separate their soul from their physical body before it's time, because you refuse to accept them as they are and then love them unconditionally while preventing them from harming others. There are so many ways that you could do this differently and better. And today, our message, because our another has no problem sharing political information, because she knows where she is aligned, and she does not shy away from those who would attack her by saying you're spiritual, you should not get involved in politics. Politics are the outcome of man and the desire to have power. Her goal is simply to share the message so that you might open your mind's eye and critically think about the areas where you are not whole or wholesome in your thinking. And then maybe to question where you could be wrong, explore more, or do it differently. There is much growth potential in the human mind, and we, the rainbow people, are inspiring you to love all cultures, all indigenous ways of revering Mother Earth, and combining all of the traditions, skills, belief systems, and holistic perspectives on what is balanced, and incorporating that into a new way of living, which is called the Hopi prophecy. And so it is. Namaste.